The whole world calls Ukrainians strong, indestructible, resilient, heroic and brave. But what is behind these beautiful words? What is it exactly that makes us like this? The blood of the Cossacks runs in us. I am Dmytro Komarov, and I have always been looking for places of power all over the world. Native Americans have always believed that all the clouds on planet Earth were born at Iguazu Falls. We're in Rio de Janeiro, with the iconic statue of Jesus Christ in front of me. The Buddha chose this place not for nothing to appear in the future. From Everest to Fujiyama. Hooray, Fujiyama! From New Guinea to the Amazon jungle. But the real place of power was literally in front of my eyes for all this time. It's Ukraine. It may seem that we are a country that is 28 times smaller than Russia in terms of area. How do we keep holding on for years? And not just holding on, but continuing to live our lives? There are no situations here that the Hustle Boys can solve. Adventures goes on. This season, I will be exploring the sources of Ukrainian strength by going on a big expedition across the country. From the east to the west. From the north, they are firing, the GBUs are out, and we're done, we're running to the cars. To the south, Bulgaria. So what makes us Ukrainians strong? Let's find out together. In the previous episode, we started an expedition to Snake Island to show how the island, which became one of the first outposts of a full-scale war, lives now, to see the rotation of border guards and find real treasures. All right, friends, we're in the Black Sea, and we're trying to film somehow. It was a mad ride across the cold sea. Oh, come on. There's water. It's gonna be fun now. In Storm. Hang on! We're really bouncing like a meter or two. Are you okay? Under aerial danger. But that is not all our problems. What? There's a MiG coming our way. If he's just on patrol, that's fine. This place could be attacked by something like Turkey's Bayraktar. Orion. Orion! It's called Orion. And then life wrote its own script for us. Before we could dock, first we lost the engine of the main boat. Did we hit something? I don't have a rear one. That's unfortunate, because being out here without engines is a very bad prospect. The plan was to transfer to a spare boat and land on the island from it. Get back! However, due to the strong waves, this plan failed. What a disaster! The air's coming out. Yes, extreme situation, totally extreme. Now we've lost a second boat. No one expected this. Will our team be able to reach the island? And can we reach the mainland without a serviceable boat? I hope at least one engine makes it to shore. The World Inside Out with Dmytro Komarov, Ukraine. So, in the previous episode, we left off with the fact that the 3 fighters and our cameraman managed to land on the island, and we are left in a punctured boat. The military do their best and pump up the boat with a hand pump. But it's deflating faster than they can pump it up. Damn it. There's nothing more we can do on one boat or the other. Unfortunately, we have damage on both of our boats. We are saved by the fact that the boat that is now constantly being pumped up is made up of separate sectors, each of which is autonomous. Fortunately, only the bow section is punctured. That's why the boat can't go at full. But as long as the other two parts are intact, it stays afloat. If we try to dock at the pier again in such conditions, in a storm, there is a huge risk that we will damage some part of the boat again. This, friends, is our adventure now. We can't land on Snake Island even though it's so close. And now we have found ourselves in what you might say is an extreme, even somewhat critical situation, because now we need to get the people out. Now we're going to try to evacuate the fighters and our cameraman. Now part of the group will move to the second boat to free this one. On it, we will try to approach the shore and evacuate the people left on land. Jump quickly! Jump! Jump, jump! Nobody's risking the boat getting close to the pier now. The boys will have to jump. We can't leave them on the island either. There's no guarantee we'll be able to come back for them tomorrow. Here comes Sasha. Sasha jumped. Sasha is there. Sasha is in the boat. They keep trying. Just an insane situation. So close to this legendary place, but unfortunately, we can't get there. Whether we will get there at all this season is unknown. Here comes Sasha with the fighters, and we'll be heading back to the mainland in emergency mode. Come on, come on! Get the cameraman over here. You guys go on that one. We are distributing the weight so that the boats are not overloaded. So we're just sailing back to the mainland? How to get to the mainland on two damaged boats? The first one has only a backup motor working and can go very slowly. The second one can't accelerate either due to the damage. So we're preparing for a very long way back. The two boats on the emergency run are heading back. So as not to overload the boat now, I keep it around 15. Unfortunately, the mission is not accomplished, but the soldiers' main task is to return home alive. That's it, you see? The key is to be upfront and honest. The task is not completed, and that's normal. But climbers, you know, sometimes it happens that you have 100 meters left to the peak, but there is no more energy and time. And you see the peak here, it is right next to you, but you turn around and your dream remains a dream. There is a phrase, it is better to descend 100 times not to reach the top than once not to descend, to keep going and die. It's the same in our work. There, you see, friends, we happen to have witnessed how life can write a script that could never have been thought of in the first place. But that is not all our problems. What? There's a MiG coming our way. If he's just on patrol, that's fine. MiG in the air is one of the biggest dangers on the high seas. If a Russian pilot spots our boat, he can destroy it from the air. We can only hope that we will not be spotted, because there is no place to hide. How often does a situation become extraordinary in your work? Every time. Something always goes wrong. Weather dictates the rules, the situation, enemy aircraft, enemy drones, the storm. It's a constant adjustment. As you can see, we didn't quite make it today, so we'll try again tomorrow. Only 20 minutes later, when the plane disappeared from the radar, did we breathe out and talk in peace. I see you have a Bible. Are you religious people? That's our crew, man. Jesus Christ is a member of the crew. What are you asking God to do? Mostly I am always thankful for what He has done for me. I give thanks. What are you thankful for today? Grateful for the people around me. For coming back safe and sound. That is despite all the buts. But an engine, but a damaged boat. No, us. Here's all of us. It's thanks to Him. Life is a core value. Yes, yes. Yes, prayer here is needed because getting back to the mainland is not guaranteed even now. In the event of another breakdown, we could be left adrift in the middle of the sea in non-functioning boats. But we hope for the best. I hope at least one engine makes it to shore. On the waves. I brought a change of clothes. I have one chocolate bar, that's it. So do I. So we won't be starving. At this slow pace, we head back towards the mainland with no guarantees as to how the day will end and whether we will have a chance to reach the island tomorrow. But suddenly, there happens something that gives us hope for the first time in a day. There, in front of us. Here, dolphins. 1, 2, 2. Dolphins are for good luck. We've had 2 failures today, now 2 dolphins. We'll consider that further comes a good fortune. Great! And you can see that the dolphins brought us luck after all. This is the first time we've seen the sun this day. The sunset is very beautiful. It's the first time I've been at sea in a full-scale war. And after such a not very pleasant journey to get there, it feels great now. And now I have faith that tomorrow we will accomplish the mission. Friends, besides dolphins, another very good sign, the rainbow. Look how beautiful it is. It's lucky. Lucky, yes, for good luck. And here we have our first confirmation that good signs really do work. I have some small but happy news. All parts are in stock. In the morning we will continue our combat mission. We are always prepared for such emergencies, and as soon as possible we must... That's good news. Weather permitting, tomorrow is our attempt number 2. Well, friends, today is the second attempt to get to Snake Island. Our boat was repaired phenomenally fast, overnight, and that's cool. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Greetings, Mr. Dmytro. Greetings. How can it be repaired overnight? Combat missions require you to be ready at all times. It's probably faster than a pit stop in Formula 1. The weather is so foggy today, you see. I see that today there is a big crew on the second boat too, on Fancy One. These are colleagues, main directorate of intelligence. We're doing a general rotation. Ah, the general rotation. Here, friends, you see what a military speedboat. This is a boat of the main directorate of intelligence, GUR. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. What's this beauty called? CB-90. CB-90. What tasks are typically performed on such vehicles? It can be used as a support boat. A support boat, a command boat, a reconnaissance boat, depending on what equipment is installed on it. GUR has a regular rotation today, right? Yeah, regular. Good, then see you on the way. Okay, Godspeed. Bodyguard, all aboard. We've started moving. The weather is very bad today. Visibility 100 meters at most. We're moving in heavy fog. Well done. But from tomorrow, strong storms start. So today we have a decisive attempt to get to Snake Island. It is important not to disturb the commander of the vessel today, because we have to be very, very careful. There is practically no line of sight. It starts the same thing you saw in detail in the last episode. Furious speed, waves, and jumping a couple of meters up. This is a job for those who are really fearless and strong. Tell me, where do you get the source of strength to work like this all the time? In love for our dear mother Ukraine. See, friends, we should be proud that Ukraine has such defense forces, such strong men. The whole world admires them for a reason. My friends, the dolphins yesterday were no accident. We are very lucky today. The weather is beautiful. The fog has cleared, the sun is out. It feels different. We can already see Snake Island on the horizon. Yeah, we see it. We're getting closer. Here comes the first unpleasant incident for today. The drone drowned. Where's Serhiy? Serhiy? What happened? I don't know. It just stopped responding, went down to the water like that. I took off and it just stopped. I mean, there's probably an EW here. Probably. Let's just go without the drone for now. We have a backup drone. We'll launch it on the island. Come on, get the camera. Well, unfortunately, we lost our drone. Stick to the plan. They'll probably go first. Yes, yes, yes. CB is going to moor. Park it. Right now, men from the main Directorate of Intelligence are landing. They also have a regular rotation. A few dozen guys have arrived, and those who have been here for a long time are being sent off to rehab. Prepare the moorings. Let's go slowly to the side of it and cross over to the pier that way. Hold on, Dmytriev. Keep the nose straight. Okay, that's it. We're on the Snake Island. That's how it works, see? Everyone working as one living organism. Everyone. Teamwork. This is the main Directorate of Intelligence. Let's stay back. Not all faces can be shown. We're working with our group. There are basically different units here, as I said. There are some of them that we can't even name. Let's talk a little bit about the rules for the camera crew. First of all, we will be with you all the time. Second, we walk only on clearly visible beaten paths and roads. To the sides, especially where there is some vegetation, it is forbidden to even set foot there at all. At the moment, the island is not completely demined from enemy mines. Besides, there's a lot of ammunition left here, which from times of battle just lie here on the ground unexploded. You know what I'm thinking? You say that in 2 years even Snake Island, 17 hectares, has not been demined. How many decades or centuries will it take Ukraine to demine everything? Ukraine is currently the most mined country in the world, and before it was Cambodia. Currently, additional tasks have been defined for the permanent control of the airspace over the Black Sea. If there is any threat, of course, an alarm will be set off and it will be necessary to go to shelter. What airborne threat could there theoretically be? The most simple one is the presence of enemy drones. And it's not impossible that an enemy plane will get up the nerve to come here. The soldiers go on rotation, changing battle positions, and we have a chance to look around the island. So friends, earlier I was walking here and thinking about how hard it is to imagine that this is where the events of Homer's Iliad, the events of ancient Greek myths, unfolded. We are now standing on the land where the events described in Homer's Iliad took place. And Achilles was here. And his mother raised this island out of the sea for him. It's fantastic. I mean, we are in the heart of the myth formation of ancient Greece. It's such a tourist magnet. The whole world will come here. There's gonna be a line here. This is where the tickets will be sold. Now I'm walking here and thinking about totally different things. This is where the boys on February 24th of 22nd for the first time encountered Russian troops and then unfortunately were captured, but fortunately survived. You may remember that in the first days the information that they were all killed was spread. Everyone sent their condolences. I also remember writing words of sympathy on social media. Then I was incredibly happy when I learned that this information turned out to be false. But then, on the 24th, they were captured and later returned home. Unfortunately, not all of them has been returned. There are border guards who, from the 24th of February of 22nd, are still in captivity. Although majority were released, we'll hear a first-person account of what was happening on the island on the first day of full-scale war later. You know, I have the impression now, when I look around, that absolutely nothing is intact. I turn around 360 degrees, and I see that every building, every car, border outpost, lighthouse, equipment, absolutely everything is destroyed, just wiped off the face of the earth. It's impossible to recognize this place. It's beautiful. I just love it, friends. It's very, very sad. Rotation of observation posts of the Black Sea water area will be carried out. Those who arrived by boat today will replace those who are here. Exactly. Follow the trail in my tracks. This post? Yes. Coming in? Greetings. Greetings. This is an exceptional opportunity to see the place from the inside. It's never been done before. Now, folks, this is the panorama. And if any of the enemy tries to come up here, they are in for a surprise like this. What's the name of this weapon? Vladimirov's large caliber machine gun. I see some ammo. Can I see it? Yes. Here's the size, friends. Take a look. In my hand. Despite that our military returned the Ukrainian flag to the island, its defense remains important. Snake Island is still a desirable piece of land for the enemy, because whoever owns the island owns the sea. So the presence of the military here and readiness to defend the water and airspace is extremely important. So tell me, how's the tour of duty here? Well, we don't only have one point, this one. There are other points scattered all over the island, and everyone watches their own sector. At night with NVD, a night vision device, soldiers are ready for defense 24/7, all days of the year. For at any moment you can expect an enemy attack. I wish you success. Thank you for your service. Thank you. But the main threat now comes not from the water, but from the air, because the island is constantly under fire. There are shelters here. Come in, come in. I see you have gas here. Yes, it's Louis and Molly. Louis and Molly. Won't they bite? They won't. Guard. Beauty. They always here with us. Now you can see how the guys live here. 4 fighters live here. Yeah, 4. See, there's a portable battery, a Starlink router, a refrigerator. Yeah, That's a lot of sausage. Yes. And you can open it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of checking out refrigerators. For 3 years, this shelter has been home to our fighters. Yes. How many shelters here? There are 6 of them on the island. There is no point in hiding and disguising because they lived here. Yes, they know it already. You see that writing on top? There also was death to the cockles writing. We cleaned it up. Is it possible to penetrate it with some kind of missile? I'd say yes, it's possible. And now, probably the most painful. We are approaching a lighthouse that no longer exists, unfortunately. It was the symbol of the island. Guys, in my tracks, step by step, on the cleared land. There's been a hit here, not one. Friends, here we see the very lighthouse that we used to walk into, that we used to climb up. Friends, we're at the top of the lighthouse, on Snake Island. A lighthouse, the fundament of which contains parts of a temple from the times of ancient Greece. Can I come over here? These are just pieces of the lighthouse. They fell. I just can't believe it. It's very painful to see here the military vehicles that has brought such pain, so much destruction to our land. On this angle stood the flagship of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, Moskva, and it was directed in a course now well known to all the world. Snake Island, I am a Russian warship. I repeat, I offer to lay down arms, surrender. Russian warship, go yourself. A legendary place we've often seen in the news. Our flag. You could say so symbolically that because there is a yellow and blue border pole here, our sea cordon, it lies. Ukraine's territorial waters are expanding. 12 miles further. As a reminder, Ukraine's territorial waters are a strip 12 nautical miles or 22 2/10 kilometers wide, which is counted from the coastline. So while Snake Island is 37 kilometers from mainland Ukraine, its location extends Ukraine's territorial waters another 22 kilometers into the sea. And this very strip allows Ukraine to export grain and other cargo from our seaports without waiting for permission from the Russians and the grain deal from which they withdrew. Thanks to this, our sea works. However, Snake Island is not only valuable for its location, because something equally valuable is preserved on the island itself. At least it was preserved before the outbreak of a full-scale war. God, it's horrible to see that. I remember meeting the director of the museum right here, right on these steps. Dmytro Grigorovich? Yes, Dmytro Grigorovich. Good afternoon. Now we're going to take a little tour, tell you what artifacts there are. I see a mine tail here and munition boxes. Can we go inside? Yes, it's all demined. It's cleared now. You can see how destroyed everything is. Walls are spray painted. See? There's holes in the walls and some damaged stucco. I remember this is where we looked at the ancient oysters from the time of ancient Greece. Imagine, friends, fossilized oysters, Ukrainian, 2,000 or 3,000 years old. It's fantastic. Remember, friends, this main hall. This is where the emperor stood all around the perimeter. I've never touched a 2,000-year-old amphora before. That's fantastic. Here was a huge anchor we saw. 3,000 years ago it was the anchor of an ancient Roman ship. God willing, as many Ukrainians as possible will be able to see these, I should say, world masterpieces. And now it's all destroyed. And you can see the missile tubes supporting the ceiling. It's very dangerous here. Look at this. It's all held together by these ammunition remnants.
від боєприпасів.
I have no words. Of course, 4 years ago, when I was in this museum, I hoped for a completely different future for this place. And I did not expect to see piles of garbage instead. Oh wow! Friends, you see, we have found a museum piece found in the year 2009. Philoxia. A quick internet search immediately makes it clear that Philoxia is the name of the expedition that explored ship anchorages in the Snake Island area, which took place here from the 2007 to 2009 years. Then scientists found near the island dozens of ancient anchors and other artifacts. The sign tells us this is a museum piece. Very cool. It's leftover glass. Could there be a point of collecting and preserving this? Hold on a second, I'll find something. Well, friends, you see how valuable our findings are. It's getting interesting, you know? Indeed, they say that this is an island of treasures since ancient Greece. And we're looking for treasure now. Let's walk around some more and see. Remains of some utensils or amphorae. Look how many of them there are amongst the glass. Remains of museum pieces.
О, тут ціла купа.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. Look.
Скільки? Вау.
I believe there was a shelf here somewhere. It was crushed. I'm excited. Excitement because we found a place where there's a lot of glass. And modern glasses of some kind. And there's a lot of pieces like this. And there's a lot of pieces with numbers on them. Now it is difficult to say what exactly we are holding in our hands. But these pieces of pottery have museum numbers on them, which indicate that they are definitely of historical value. You look at it like this. It's just modern glass. You turn it around to see the inscription. Every piece of glass could be valuable. We need to get it all back together and get it restored. Is that from a supply bag? Yes.
Мені здається,
It seems to me it is clear by now that professionals who know about it
професіоналів
should be sent here urgently and study every pebble here. I will make sure that no more outsiders come in here, and we will wait until it is possible to send archaeologists here. When holding historical artifacts in your hands, you immediately think about how to preserve such finds and in what reliable hands to pass them on. Before the full-scale war, the museum on Snake Island was a branch of the Odessa Archaeological Museum. So the best solution is to take the treasure of Snake Island there. We have decided on the future plan for our crew, and the defenders of Snake Island have their own tasks here. What's next? Demolition of munitions that were found during demining. Now we will see the process of destroying found munitions by detonation.
шляхом підриву.
Well, simply say, our guys found some remains of different ammunition. And of course, it's dangerous to touch them.
Торкатись.
So what to do? You just take your explosives and use them as detonators. There's an explosion and no more danger. Here it is, under the chairs. Here, friends, is an unexploded grad munition. Dangerous.
Небезпечний.
It was covered with these chairs on top in order to make it clear where it is.
Зараз
Now the TNT will be placed and it will be neutralized.
Ось бачите?
You can see
Наш апарат.
our cameraman standing right next to it. 3 TNT pellets have been placed on top of the rocket. The detonator is being set. We'll put one GoPro in the window over there. Serhiy is installing it.
Будемо сподіватися, що
Let's hope it's going to film something and not fly away. We need to move to a safe distance because its fragments spread maybe up to even
може навіть на
200 meters. Before disarming the munition, a 30-minute alert is declared on the island so that everyone has time to finish their tasks and hide in a safe place. Drone ready! Drone's taking off! The operator launches a drone to film the explosion from high above. This is the safest option. Attention everyone! Countdown begins. 3, 2, 1. Huge!
можна було побачити, як
You could see the pieces flying.
І бачите, горить.
And you can see it's burning in different parts of the island.
І це
It's clear why you should stay away.
від граду.
And that's only one Grad missile.
Один раз
A Grad can fire up to 40 at a time. That's brutal. And for our enemy, it's such an accessible, cheap weapon. What can be said about Snake Island? Dangerous, remote, difficult to access, with harsh work conditions. You can't take absolutely safe shelter during shelling. You can't leave the island when you want to. You have to wait for rotation. Not for nothing do border guards still have a legend that in Soviet times it was like a place of exile, and soldiers were scared that they could be sent to serve on Snake Island. Nevertheless, only thanks to such strong men of spirit it is possible to keep Snake Island inhabited. And most importantly, Ukrainian.
За що?
What do you personally fight for? For my country, for the future of our children, so they will live prosperous lives in an independent Ukraine. For the homeland, I have a duty to protect our country. For my family, for everything, everything. Just look at this sky. Yes, you can't help but fight for this sky. Meanwhile, we are not forgetting our main mission: to transfer the unique historical artifacts found on the island into safe hands. And we're going to do it with a very special person. Meet Andriy. On February 24th of 2022, he and his brothers in arms took the first battle for Snake Island. We knew about these events only from fragments of information from the news. Now we have a unique opportunity to learn the details of that day firsthand. What is it like when a Russian warship comes at you and threatens to kill you? I went into service in 2018, signed a contract. I served on Snake Island until February 24th of 22nd. In total, you spent 4 years there. Yes. Let's start with February 23rd. The evening of February 23rd. Did you have any feelings, anything special? Did you prepare in any way? The 23rd was an ordinary day. Nothing portended trouble. Everyone went to bed, but at night we were raised on alert at 3 in the morning. They said it was no longer a drill. Everyone got into their positions. Nothing happened until 7 in the morning. Then we saw the 121st Russian warship on the horizon. We didn't even realize it was the Moscow. The ship usually passed by in transit because a lot of warships passed by. We didn't pay any attention to it, just normal activity. Closer to 8 in the morning, we saw that it was getting closer and closer with each passage. Then, when they started contacting us on the radio to surrender, that's when we started to realize the gravity of the situation. What did it sound like? What did they say? Snake Island, we are a Russian warship. We suggest you surrender or you will be struck by artillery and missiles. I was in a ZU position at the time, an anti-aircraft unit, and at about 12 o'clock, maybe even 13 in the afternoon, a SAR boat came up and took the civilians away. We were offered to leave everything, leave the island with nothing and leave. But we didn't do that. We stood on. It's hard to even imagine how the defenders of Snake Island felt when a superior enemy came close and gave them an ultimatum: surrender or die. You can see the boat from 200 meters away. That's how we live on Snake Island. Moscow. How was your personal encounter with the Russians? How did you see them first time? How was it? They came onto the island after a rocket attack. We were all in the bunkers. Then, when we started coming out, we saw their boats. There was a command not to engage. You got a command? Yeah, that's reasonable. 80 people would just lay us down. We have seen that Snake Island was an open piece of land in the middle of the sea. Everyone who was on it was like a target. Obviously, the forces were unequal at that point. On a rock, with no such weapons,
Важкого озброєння
heavy weapons that could rival a ship the size of the Moscow.
масштабів Москви.
That would be suicide. Yeah, suicide. We came out of shelter, and they were already waiting for us. We got surrounded, started down to the pier. We were told to lie face down on the floor. Everyone was counted. We lay down till about 4 in the morning, from 6 in the evening to 4 in the morning. Just on the ground, just on asphalt. That's rough. Any kidney problems, urologic problems,
Це переохолодження.
hypothermia as a result.
Сильні проблеми були.
Yes. Any major problems? Problems were solvable, but they were. Everybody's probably had some. Almost everybody. Did you get any medical help in captivity? No, there was no help in captivity. We left, I guess, around lunchtime. We went not knowing where we were going. And as it turned out, we came to Crimea, to the Sevastopol port. We were met there with cameras. They untied everyone's hands before we left. They shook us off so we could have, I think, a more pleasing look. We started to get off the ship, and they started filming. They give us water and a daily ration. And they put us on a bus. I remember the footage of you walking with rations and water in your hands. Yes. You get on the bus, a cameraman comes in the bus and films you. We can see your faces and how you sit with these rations, right? Yes. I'm being honest, it looked like you were being treated normally. Yes, at that moment, yes. However, as it turned out later, it was just a picture for TV. In fact, the guys were not sent to Odessa as was written on the buses. They had a long way to go through prisons, pre-trial detention centers, and colonies before being exchanged. Some of the defenders of Snake Island remain in captivity even to this day. It was tough in the pre-trial detention center. They beat us with rubber truncheons and tasers. Were you fed properly? No. You spent, as far as I know, 9 months in captivity. Yes. Did you even believe that you'd come back? Yes, of course. That thought was always in my head. There was a man from Berdyansk, and he always used to say after the night of that, well, the day has passed, a day closer to home. On November 24th of 22nd, Andrei's captivity ended. After 9 months, he was finally exchanged. Glory to Ukraine! Glory to the heroes! What's Snake Island to you? Well, Snake Island is, I'd say, a second home. A home-like place that will always be in my heart, in my soul, in my memories. We have an important mission today. We are taking exhibits from the museum on Snake Island to the Odessa Museum. What are these ancient glass objects, artifacts to you? At the very least, it's history, a very ancient history that cannot be lost, one that needs to be written further. So here we are. Here is the Archaeological Museum, and you see there is an exhibition there which is called Snake Island.
Так і зветься, Змій.
So we're exactly right on time. Maybe these exhibits will be useful.
При нагоді.
In the right hands, the artifacts immediately began to take on new meanings. There you see, that was the plate. Here. Ah, yes, you can already see the match. Here, if you look closer, we can still put something together.
Що означає професійний.
He's a professional. Immediately noticed that many elements belong to the same exhibit.
До одного виробу.
We'll give it to our restorer. He loves such things. After taking the artifacts we brought, Mr. Igor showed us other exhibits that the museum is proud of. This is the pedestal of Achilles from the temple. There was a sculpture of Achilles here. The cult of Achilles was very widespread in the northern Black Sea region. And one such place was the island of Levka, White, or Snake Island now. Here, friends, you know, as I stand here and look at this exhibit, I realize that this is how the myth comes to life. When you are there looking at the lighthouse, it seems like a legend. But when you see this thing in person, you realize that this temple of Achilles really existed. Watch the next episode. The World Inside Out team goes on a real expedition. In 2025, it is still unknown which housing is the highest in Ukraine, and we plan to correct this. Hello! Help! We'll travel thousands of kilometers through the summer. What a scenery! And winter! Greetings! In SUVs, what a road! On horses! Off-road vehicles, snowmobiles, like a fairy tale, on snowshoes. What beautiful places we have here. I can't believe it. To finally find out who in Ukraine lives closest to the skies. Is anyone home? And find out what is the source of strength of the real Ukrainian mountaineers.
Get in, Dmytro. You'll live with me here.
How will this expedition end? Don't miss it. The place of power is real. The World Inside Out with Dmytro Komarov, Ukraine.